Okay, Jenny, so we're now 3 months after your operation, and we've done a brow lift, we've done the lower blepharoplasties, a face and neck lift. The scars are healing beautifully, really well. We're already starting to see the hair grow through that it's in the wound, which is excellent, and the scar coloration is looking fantastic. Lower eyelids, I think that's worked wonders.
Yeah, it has done well.
But I think what is most noticeable is around the corner of the mouth. And we'll have a look at the photos in a second and have a look at that closer. So at the moment, at 3 months out, other than the numbness around the wounds and around the ear and maybe on the top of the head there, is there any other discomfort that you're feeling?
It's not tightness in those terms. I mean, if you like, it's good tightness. You realise sort of how loose it was before. So the neck is still possibly a little bit limited in movement. But it's less so all the time, you know, and that's really only noticed at the gym or somewhere like that. It's not daily life or driving or anything.
And in terms of the results so far, what's your thoughts so far?
Oh, no, I think it's fantastic. Yes. People, they expected to see more evidence of a facelift, either tightening or certainly stitches and things like that, scars. So that's a funny thing that sort of happened is, you know, we'll prove it was the scars.
Oh, fantastic.
Aging's horrible. I mean, just take my word for it. It's horrible in some ways and it's good in others, particularly in physical terms, have very little control about where it's going, and you can see where, you know, this can end up, and it just, you know, gets worse. I was very jowly and this really frustrated me. So that was not an attractive thing, but it was finding someone who had a procedure that could be much more natural and, if you like, take you back in time rather than sort of, you know, stretch you not to, you know, stretch the bits you didn't like. Whereas I think Kien's approach is to take it very holistically. And, you know, I think that's what he's done.
So let's just have a look at a few of the photos. So this is at 3 months out, and let's have a look at the forehead. As you can see, the eyebrows here are still in a very natural position. But because we've taken a lot of that redundancy in the forehead there, it's a lot smoother in between the eyes here, and you can really see that the upper eyelids are lifted and are showing a bit more. So you've had a really good result from the upper eyelids as a result of lifting that brow. Obviously that brow lift has also given us the ability to really lift that lower mid face a lot more in a vertical manner, and it's really improved this lower portion here.
I also am really pleased with the overall result that I've got. You know, I have a jawline back, I have a neck back. I actually have an area here that I haven't had. I'm not sure I've ever had this. You know, I look back at pictures of me when I was a lot younger, and, you know, I've always been sort of more cheekbony than, you know, cheeks. I have more flesh on my face here.
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to stay there, but it's what's sort of noticeable in, if you like, rounding out, because everything before was sort of hanging down.
That's exactly right. So with this lift here, all this heavy tissue that had dropped from the cheek area has been reanimated or resuspended into this mid-cheek region and giving you a mid-face improvement. But going down to the lower eyelids, as you can see, I think this is a wonderful result at this early stage, and the lower eyelids tend to continue to improve, and we see the best improvements at around about 6 months, but already at an early stage you can see there's been a great improvement in those lower eye bags. You know, I think the most significant findings is with the corner of the, with the angle of the jaw here. And so we've been able to really define the entire jawline beautifully here, where that was a bit lost before because of the jowling here and because of the heaviness around the angle of the jaw.
It's nice to be able to look in the mirror, as I say, and not first and foremost think, I don't like that and I hate that, and God, I wish I could do something about that. So that's what's good. You do sort of feel better when people say, you know, God, you look great. You know, it's not just God, you look great because you're 70. It's, you know, it's because you look great.
Let's have a closer look at these scars here, and really at 3 months, it's beautiful. It's going to be almost impossible for anyone to pick those scars. We've really maintained a good position of that earlobe, and the scars are pretty much invisible even at this very early stage. So I'm really happy with that result there.
What impressed me about Kien is his genuine enthusiasm for the task. This wasn't just something he makes money out of. This is something he actually enjoys doing. That was attractive to me.
You've made an excellent recovery. You've been really the perfect patient. I think your results are unbelievable, even at this very early stage of recovery. We find that the face with this type of a facelift does continue to improve over the next 6, 12, 18 months. If you were to make any comments about the recovery or the whole process, is there anything that could have been done differently that would have helped?
I'm not sure that it's things done differently, but the parts that were uncomfortable for me was definitely the recovery. In the very early stages, when I had this sort of, when I was swathed like a mummy head, that was incredibly claustrophobic, and I found it sort of difficult to sleep and things like that. The other part was teaching myself to sleep in a more upright position and getting the right pillows and bolsters and things that would allow me to do that, because I know it made a difference in terms of the swelling and things like that. But it was difficult. It was irritating, I suppose, not painful. It was just difficult to sleep for long periods and things like that.
Those issues are very common amongst all patients. Obviously, it is rather involved and extensive surgery. And what we find universally is that it is a bit uncomfortable, particularly for that first 3 or 4 days when you are quite heavily bandaged. But patients, we do help you through that process, obviously. And once you get through that first few days.
And that's really all I can say. There's nothing about the process at all.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Jennie, for being such a lovely patient and a lovely person.
I believe he's genuinely chuffed in what he can do. And I think that makes a difference to how he's able to approach it and why I felt he was going to do a good job, and why I feel I was justified in trusting him to do it, because I think he's done a fantastic job.